Welcome to 50 Years of Coptic History in Australia. Joining me today, we are continuing our discussion with Mr. Farag Ghobran. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So going back to the point about the Board of Deacons, and you were saying they were involved with the administrative tasks of the church. We were talking about the churches that were being established, and the last church that we spoke of was Mount Druitt Church. What then was the responsibility of the Board of Deacons going ahead?
The Board of Deacons was the finances, of course, of the church, and we had like one treasurer for all the churches, 3 or 4 churches, and all the income of the churches goes to that board, and the board gives the churches what they need, and the board is responsible for, of course, the priest salaries and their services, their rent, whatever it is, and whatever the expenses, and the expenses of the churches, and looking after signing bank loans and whatever it is, getting loans from the bank. And the banks didn't trust us in the start, and then we started getting like personal guarantees from the congregation. Each one in the congregation could guarantee the church in $1,000, and we collected this and gave them to the bank, and the banks were really amazed. Even the bank manager came once to the church to see how the congregation was giving very gladly. At that time, no one was even a millionaire or something. It was just we were all establishing ourselves in this country. But at that time, the congregation considered the church is the essential part of his life. And they should establish a good church with good services, with good priests as well, and good services, good spiritual services as well. Yeah.
And you can see the fruits of the church. That's how it's flourished and grown.
Of course. When we think about the churches now, we have so many churches in Sydney, about 17 churches in Sydney, yes. And then all this congregation coming in, and Sunday schools and all the other services, We have preschools, we have 3 Coptic schools, we have a monastery, we have a convent as well for the, we have everything here, all the service. We have charitable organizations, we have Exodus, we have all this, the fruits of the church, of course. And these fruits affected our own lives, of course, and our children, our siblings, our grandchildren enjoyed the service of the church, and they had the blessings of the church as well. So that was very important too. I say the Copts bring the church with them. They can't live without the church. Yeah, they can't live without the church. They bring the church to with themselves.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And are you still part of the committee? Is the committee still around?
Now this is different, because now that's the New South Wales Parliament approved that there is a religious status now. Now it's and there's a bishop here now, and the bishop is the one who is responsible for the church now. He chooses his consultants, he chooses his advisory board, whatever it is, and his administration board as well. There's elections only for the council, for the church, the congregation, each congregation, individual congregation council. Only that's but there is nothing to get them together except the bishop and his administrative committee. Yeah.
So it's changed, but the structure is still there for a committee.
The structure is there, but every church now has got its own treasurer and its own money. I don't know what the financial system is now, but I think it's different from before. Yeah. And I wish to say another thing. In 1974, we had a visit from 2 prominent and eminent bishops. Amba Bahomius, at that time, he was the bishop of Damanhur, now he's a metropolitan of Beheira, and the late Bishop Agathon, who was at that time bishop at large, and after that he was metropolitan of Ismailia. And we had Bishop Agathon, the late Bishop Agathon, stayed here for about 6 months in Australia. There was a problem in Melbourne, some problems here in Sydney, and he stayed until everything was established well, and yeah.
Because we didn't have a bishop at that time. It was
No,
just
no bishops at that time,
yeah.
but they let Pope Shenouda send these two bishops to solve the problems of Sydney and Melbourne at that time, yeah.
It's great history.
Yeah.
Now, looking ahead at the journey you've had upon your first day of arrival in Australia until now, and seeing the church grow and flourish and your children enjoy the church, what do you see ahead for the future of your grandchildren and children in the church?
I wish that the church would look, because our Egyptian culture is different from our grandchildren's. I'm talking about the third generation now. And I have a fourth generation, but I don't know how they would they would do, you know, but how would they fare? But I think the third generation here, they feel that the Egyptian culture is fading from them. And it's not that deep in them. We have the Egyptian culture, and we can, because our culture got into our liturgy and our services and everything. Now we have they have different problems. They face other things which we were not thinking about ourselves. So we need servants who are up to date with the young people, and they think with their way, the children's way, and they see their problems exactly and feel it exactly. So people who are born here, bred here, and went through Australian community and to know the Australian culture well, and to see what the Australian problems are and what our children are facing, so they can solve it in their mind. But we cannot see that. Yeah.
It's like an amalgamation of two cultures.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure
Thank
talking
you very
with you.
much. Thank you, Susie, and I hope everything, you celebrate the 100th as well, but I wouldn't be there. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Habib.
Thank you.
Thank you.